All right, now we have all the major pieces set, and we just need to start cutting some joints into them. So the first one we're going to start with is the top deck, and we're going to cut joints into this back edge. This front edge doesn't need any joints. It goes up next to the coping, and all the side and all these other holes will be cut by the other pieces. So just some tabs along the back. So to do that, I'm going to create a sketch right here on the top deck. I'm going to hide everything in my bodies folder except that top deck. So the sides, the decking, the coping, the back, and the base. In fact, I'm going to drop the coping into the sides folder. Okay. And now I'm just going to create a quick rectangular pattern. I'm going to start this pattern near the middle somewhere. Not on the middle, but near it. 1.5 centimeters wide and thickness tall. Enter. Then I'm going to zoom in and do some patterning. Create rectangular pattern tool. Zoom in and grab the 3 lines that I need to pattern. I'm going to pull it out a little bit so I see which one I'm doing, and then I'm going to do symmetric so it goes in both directions. And I don't like to have a visible face, have the corners be cut away. Because in the corner you'll see like 2 edges coming together. By having wood there, it looks much cleaner. So I'm going to try and pull it over until I'm about like this distance away. And I think that looks pretty good. So I'm going to go with a 10 centimeter spacing. And, oh, never mind, cancel this. I didn't center it first. So first thing I'm going to do actually is center this rectangle onto this whole big thing. Now I'm going to do my create rectangular pattern tool. And I'm going to zoom in and grab these 3 lines again. My bad. I'm going to drag it out. I'm going to see that this one, symmetric. And once again, I'm going to do the same thing I just did. But this time it will work better. And I'm thinking 12.5 looks pretty good. Nice round number. And I'm just going to start upping the number until I get something that looks pretty nice. Remember, I have to use an odd number, or it'll have like a hole right here if I use an even number. So make sure you use an odd number. And I think 9 does it for me. So my final measurements here are 9, a quantity of 9, a distance of 12.5, and direction type set to symmetric. Awesome. I'm going to click OK. Got them all in there. I'm just going to extrude these out real quick and cut them. When I do this extrusion, I want to make sure that my other bodies are turned off, or I'll also cut them as well. I'll cut anything that comes in contact with. And here I'm just going to do a negative TH, enter. That's thickness, enter, and now I've got it cut. So the top piece is totally done. We just need to cut the joints in it. In fact, let's go ahead and do that now. I'm going to turn everything back on, or at least just the sides. All I really need are the sides. And then I'm going to come here and I'm going to do, actually, let me look here. Yeah, the coping is off. Let me turn it on. I'm going to do a cut command, so I'm going to do my modify. Actually, you know what? I don't have the coping off. Sorry. I'm going to do target body is going to be the top. The tool bodies are going to be all the legs. And set the join right now so everything turns blue. I'm going to set it to cut. I'm going to make sure it says keep tools, and I'm going to click OK. And now when I hide all the sides, you can see I have all the joints cut in now perfectly. Awesome. Now I want to work on the back piece. So the back piece isn't quite done yet. So I'm going to turn the top off and turn the back on so I can see it. Rotate it around, and you can see there are no joints cut in it. Well, right away I can turn the top on and I can say, hey, let's cut the back. Let's use the back as our target. Right there. And then we'll use our tool body as this one, and we'll cut that, keep the tools, click OK. And now when I turn the top off, you can see the back has that part cut. It also needs to be cut. In fact, I'm going to right click on this last combine tool. I'm going to do edit feature, because I also needed to cut it using all of these side pieces as well. I need to cut all those in as well. So I'm going to go ahead and go to my tool bodies here, and then just go ahead and click all of them. You could do this as a second combine command, but there was just no need to have another thing down here if we don't need it. And then I'm going to say OK. And now when I turn everything back off, I can see now I've got everything cut into the back except the bottom where it attaches to the base. So then I'm going to cut in some joints for that. To do that, I'm going to create a sketch right here on the outside face of the back. That did not work. Control Z. I'm going to create a sketch. I don't know why it's not grabbing that outside face. That's being super problematic. It's grabbing things that are invisible, which is a super strange behavior to have. Let's make them visible, see if I can grab it once they're visible. Rotate it around to the back. Maybe square onto the back. Hey, there it is. Now I got it. Right there. So now I've got it. I know I've got it because I can see the outline of the back now in my sketch. So again, I'm going to turn everything off because I only want to focus on this back piece. And now I'm going to create the tabs here. To do that, I'm going to drop a tab here. Now these are going to be 1.5 to match the top deck. But I'm going to make them thickness th enter asterisk 2 times 2. Because the base is double thickness, so I want to make that double thickness as well. Now positioning them, I'm going to position them, this is always tricky, this one. I'm going to use a dimensioning tool D, grab this side, I'm going to position it to here and call this 1.5. Awesome. Now I'm going to pattern this out to the side, so create rectangular pattern on these 3 lines, and then I'm going to drag it over. I'm going to try and get it reasonably close. So all the way to, I'm going to zoom in, all the way to here, looks like 29 or 26 and a 0.3. Let me do a little math real quick. So I know my whole distance should be, let's see. So there's a 1 point, so this whole distance from this outside tab to this outside tab is 29 plus a thickness. And then this one is going to be 1.5. Basically minus 3. So I need 23, I need 26. That's what I need, I think. I need 26 minus thickness. And that should line it up perfectly with the outside edge. There it is right there. And now I need to pull it back 1.5. So I'm going to add 1.5. And that just pulled it back to 1.5, just like this one is 1.5 back from the edge. So if you didn't quite get all that, just follow what I did. I'll tell you what it was. It was, I started with a, oh man, this is hard to do, minus 26 for the direction, minus thickness, and then plus 1.5. So if you're using all of my stuff, you can use that and it'll line it up perfectly. Otherwise, it won't, you know, it'll be fine if it's not quite lined up perfectly. It'll just mean you have to put it on in one direction. And I did not mean to hit enter there. Sorry. I'm going to open up that screen again, and I'm going to increase the quantity until I get something reasonable. Whoops, wrong one. Right there. Yeah, that's good. So I'm going 8 as my quantity, and then I'm going again on my distance, negative 26 centimeters minus thickness plus 1.5, and then I'm going to click OK. And now we have all those in there. I'm going to extrude here, and just extrude all of these out. And I'm going to do a negative TH for thickness, enter, and then enter to do it. And all of a sudden, I'm done with that. Last thing I need to do now is I'm going to hide the back and turn the base on. And you can see, I'm going to go back to home view. You can see the base hasn't been cut with anything yet. So I need to basically cut the base with everything except the top deck and the curved deck. So I'm going to turn on all the sides again. And I'm going to turn the back on. I'm going to leave the top and the deck off because I don't need those. I don't technically need the coping, but no problem having it on. Use a combine tool. Click on the bottom as the target, and then all of the vertical faces will get cut into it, and then the back will get cut into it as well. And then we're going to make sure it says Keep Tools and click OK. Now when I turn everything off, you can see I have everything cut into it nicely. Oh, I don't like the look of this. So this slot shouldn't go all the way out. I think I failed to do something earlier. Oh, I did. Okay, so let's leave that. So I'm going to show you a technique, because what I did is I want to cut the ends of these supports. I want to cut these ends off so it doesn't create that long slot across there. Right now we still have that long slot. So to fix that, we're going to go backwards in time. We're going to say, hey, before we did all of this and all of this combine tool, let's go way back here in time and let's find, okay, so this was after the deck. What's that? Okay, so this was before the coping. Let's go before the coping and let's go ahead and cut these three. We'll cut the ends off of these three. So first of all, I'm going to figure out what three those are. So I'm going to hide the right side and the left side and leave the three mids on. I'm going to create a sketch. I'm going to create it on this face here. I'm going to zoom in and I'm going to grab a rectangle tool, go up here where I see this square, and then escape. Actually, I'm going to start from the bottom corner because then I can go from this hard corner to this hard corner, and that'll do it just right. I'm going to extrude this just like that, and I'm going to drag it. Actually, I'm going to flip over. I'm going to say extrude a certain distance, or to object, I should say, and I'm going to extrude to this outside face here, and it's going to cut all three of those away. That's what I want to do. I'm going to say OK. Now, once I've done that, all I have to do is zoom forward in the history bar down here at the thing, and I've zoomed forward. I'm going to turn on the left side and the right side again, and then now when I pull this up, watch what happens. I'm going to actually hide the sides, and you can see now the slots were cut differently. So it goes back and updates everything we did and fixes it based on what the change we made in the future. So if you want to do that, you just got to drag your timeline backwards in history, make a change, and then when you drag it forward, it redoes each step to incorporate that change you made. So really powerful, really cool feature of Fusion 360. All right, so that part's done. The last thing we need to do is we need to add in some details on the front to be able to join a ramp to it. So the idea of this is that this ramp will join into another ramp or another object. To do that, we have to, what's the best way? To do that, we're going to add some details into this front face. So I'm going to hide everything but the base and take a look at it. So this front face is where things are going to snap into. We're going to build magnets into them so that the magnets will snap and hold the materials together, and also a groove to keep them lined up vertically. So let's get to it. First thing we're going to do is create the groove, and I think we're going to create it in the top layer. We are. So this base, remember, is 2 layers thick, and we are going to cut back one of those layers right now. So I'm going to start here in this top corner, and I'm going to go over to this. I'm going to come up short. I'm not going to do it perfectly. I'm going to hit tab because I want to be on the thickness right now. Type in TH for thickness, enter. That sets the height of it. And then I'm just going to push enter and let it stop right there. Notice this one's blue. It's not quite ready. It's not fixed yet. So I'm going to use my collinear tool. I'm going to click here, and I'm going to line it up with this inside edge. And just so you can see, it's this, the whole face here is being grabbed onto right now. And then that looks great. So I'm going to extrude this, and I'm going to extrude it back into it. 0.3. Except I want to extrude in a cut. So I'm going to extrude in a -0.3. I'm going to cut back into it. That's not right. 0.3 right there, looks great. So this is a little bit of just a cut in. And I'm going to put the deck on real quick so you can see how this works. See how it's a little slot there? We're going to build a little lip out of the other ramp so that it slides right in there and kind of holds it in place up and down at least. Left and right and forward and back, we've got to fix that with magnets. All right, to do that, we're going to flip over to the bottom. Turn off the deck again. I'm going to create a sketch on the bottom of the ramp face. And this time I'm going to draw in a rectangle. This is for the magnets that we're going to be using. So I'm going to draw it over here, not on the center for sure, off to the side somewhere. I'm going to draw it, and it's going to be a total of, let me look. It is 0.476 wide, and then 1.2 centimeters down. So tab 1.27 centimeters down. Enter. That is the slot we're going to cut for the magnet to go into. Now what we're going to do is we're going to center this on this line. And what I'm thinking about doing is building in, you know what, that looks pretty good actually. I think I'm going to do it that way. I'm going to build in 3 magnets, one over here, one here, and one in the middle. Or should we do 4? 1 in each slot. Let's do 4. Let's figure it out. So I'm just going to create a rectangular pattern. I'm going to go 1. I think I'm going to do 3. I think 3 is a safer bet. 1, 2, 3. And I'm going to go this way. I'm going to say symmetric. And I'm going to try and kind of get it centered-ish in this slot right here. Let me click on the bottom so I can see clearly. I think 11 looks good. Yeah, that's easy to remember. So I'm going to record this number actually. And yeah, so we'll click finish sketch and we'll just use 3. My hesitancy to use 3 is that this space between this and this is going to be really narrow because we're going to cut a hole here. I don't want too many holes cut into it. Let me do a quick measure and see how long this distance is. Yeah, so it's only about 0.73, so about 3/4 of a centimeter. So that's pretty close, but I think it'll work fine. I think it'll be strong still. And then we're going to flip it. Well, I'm going to flip it over. That was a mistake. We're going to extrude these 3 out, and we're going to just cut them all the way through. And we're going to push it up, past, and you can see what it's doing. It's cutting right now through the surface. And instead of that distance, we're going to say all the way through. We don't want to overcut anything. Click OK. Awesome. Well, that looks fantastic. So that's our slots for our magnets. They're little rectangular magnets that'll sit in there, and then just the 2 ramps will just snap together and hold together. So that'd be perfect. So I'm going to go back to the home here and turn on the decking. And I think that's it. I think we might be done. I hesitate to say we're done, but I think we're done. I think that's the ramp. Bam. Now all we need to do is we need to break this ramp down, flatten out that curved deck, and then create cut lines and take it to the laser and get some parts done. Yeah, I think that's it. All right, awesome. I'll see you in the next video.